It's hard to believe that 2 years ago, here on April 6, 2016, Sedalia became the 90th community across the nation to launch 1 million cups to connect, educate, and engage entrepreneurs, based on the notion that you bring entrepreneurs and community leaders together, over 1 million cups of coffee, and great forward progress occurs within a community. You may recall back in 2014, the Economic Development Sedalia FIT County's strategic planning process. We brought 75 leaders together in this room here back in 2014. As a result of that strategic planning process, we created the Entrepreneurship and Innovation Task Force. Our first deliverable was to launch the 1 million program here in Sedalia. Since the launch just 2 years ago, 1 Million Cups has featured 48 entrepreneurs right here on the stage, presenting and showcasing their company. It's so very exciting to see these up-and-coming businesses and entrepreneurs learn from one another and be engaged in our community. As an economic development tool, we are together creating an ecosystem in Sedalia and Pettis County to identify and support our entrepreneurs so their businesses can thrive right here in our community. As part of that ecosystem, additional resources have been launched to support small businesses and entrepreneurs, such as the State Fair Community College Small Business and Technology Development Center. Kelly Asbury, I know you're over there in the corner. Kelly is our SBTDC director. She's come on board and helped through the launch of that program. That center has served 128 entrepreneurs and small businesses in the past year, providing 38 training events and 269 trainees. Those are some great numbers, folks. That's an impact having in our local economy. And they've also assisted small businesses in acquiring $1,138,500 in capital. Access to capital, we know, is so crucially important in thriving businesses. We've also seen angel investors and startup space being talked about throughout the community. All of these resources are so critically important to the vitality of a new business. This could not be accomplished without a great team. Those community organizers are where that team starts. And really the star players of that team are our entrepreneurs and small business owners that have taken a chance at launching their business and that have graced this very stage. We're delighted this morning to feature many of our past presenters. They're here to provide us with an update on how their entrepreneurial ventures have excelled since first presenting here at 1 Million Cups Sedalia. So without further ado, you guys don't want to hear from me. You want to hear from our past presenters. So one at a time, I'm going to ask them to join us here on stage so that they can give us an update on their businesses. First, we have Mark Kessner with BlueBird Outdoors. Mark, come on up. I feel like Brad Wickstrom with Craft Beer Cellar. Amanda Hardy with Sedalia FIT. Brandon Grable with Grable Exterior Maintenance Services. Jessica Busing with the Scarlett Lens. LaDonna Meuschke with Style Dots. Drew Ford, Business Instruments. Brandy Von Holten with Von Holten Ranch. Everyone got a little brighter with Brandy. Jason Vanatta, Vanatta Fabrication. And Cliff Callis with Callis Integrated Marketing. Did I miss any other presenters that slipped in maybe when I wasn't looking? No, good. Okay, well, I think this is a very esteemed group. Guys, these folks have really busy schedules. They're focused on running, launching, and scaling their businesses. So thank you all for being here. I'm going to give each of them a chance to kick off our program by telling us in 3 minutes, I know guys, 3 minutes is tough, how your business has grown or changed over the past year since we last heard from you. So I'm going to pick on you first, Brad. If you could go first, kick us off.
All right. Well, I learned that it's really, really tough running your own business. Everybody says that, but you don't really, I think, fully understand that until you're in the trenches. For us specifically, we opened about 1.5 years ago. We're in downtown Sedalia. If nobody's had the chance to stop by, we are, if you're not familiar, we are a franchise. So there's about a little over 30 craft beer cellars throughout the U.S. And we are the third one in Missouri. There's Clayton, St. Louis area, Columbia, and then us. And obviously all are independently owned and operated. So the model is mainly a bottle shop that has a tasting bar with it. And the thing that I learned really quickly once we opened up is that the community really gravitated towards the bar and not so much, or not as much of the bottle shop, which is package sales, buy and take home. So planning going into it is we kind of planned on a 60-40 split, bottle shop heavy. And that's been more the inverse, and probably a little more towards 60-65% on the bar side, which is great. Bar side is a little better margins, but when I designed it, we weren't really set up to handle a bar crowd. So when we've had like some of the great events, like for example, the Lions Club just had the St. Patrick's Day pub crawl, which was awesome. It ended up being our biggest day of business that we ever had. But times like that, it's hard for us to keep up with the demand of the influx of people we have in. So that's kind of the next phase that I'm looking at, is how can we better equip to handle what the community wants in the store. So, yeah.
Very good. Thank you. All right, Mark. How about you?
3 minutes,
Yeah.
right? Brandy,
Come on.
Yes.
can I do it in 3 minutes?
I'm not sure
So-
Brandy can.
I know, Brandy. So
Everybody
3 minutes to run down to
20 seconds.
BlueBird Outdoor Adventures RV Rentals. We've got a lot of stuff going on. We're growing leaps and bounds. We're based in Coal Camp. We actually launched in 2015. Not bragging by no means. Don't take any kind of number stuff by bragging. We feel awful blessed of the accomplishments we've made, the people we've met. I see a lot of partners out here. Brandy Von Holten is one of our biggest partners that we partner with. From last year to from 2016 to 17, believe it or not, the RV rental business, which we're kind of the only game in town, we grew 416.66% in 1 year.
That's awesome.
Our biggest contributor to that is customer service and kids. Believe it or not, we start everybody's rental out experience with a little thing of s'mores. The s'mores fixins. It's minimal expense, and you can't believe the impact that has on kids and everybody that rents from us. It's a big deal. People they come back again next year and ask if we still do the s'more stuff, So we actually had a meeting with some people down in Springfield the other day with they sell coffee. They donate all the proceeds to Wounded Warriors and the new group that's called Kids of Fallen Heroes, I believe is what it is. So we're thinking about partnering up with them and adding the coffee thing in with our rentals and stuff and kind of support that. So we're growing. We got a lot of stuff going on. We're going to finish the second phase of our RV sites in Coal Camp there. We've got a group that's putting. They actually come by yesterday, done some measuring, some building materials and stuff. They're going to turn our middle big building into indoor batting facility and workout center for area schools, baseball, softball, things like that. So that's kind of a big deal. So we got a lot of irons in the fire, and I'm also a part-time supervisor at UPS. So my day starts at 1 o'clock in the morning. So that's the quick 3 minute rundown.
So you really need the coffee and the cake.
Not the cake so much.
Thank you. Very good. Amanda, how about you?
Sure. My name's Amanda Harvey, and I'm actually a business teacher at Smith Cotton High School. I am a former entrepreneur myself, so I have a lot of respect for everybody I'm sitting up here with. My job now is a little bit different. Just a little recap. I am the FIT program coordinator, and FIT stands for 40-hour internship tryout. I work with the high school students to provide career experience in careers that they're interested in pursuing after high school. And I've worked with some of these partners sitting up here. Since I've been here and presented, by the end of this year, we will have over 300 students participated in a 40-hour internship since we launched the program in the spring of 2016. This is a Sedalia community-wide program, so that's about 200 Smith Cotton students and 100 Sacred Heart students as well, working out there with our community members to gain valuable career experience. We've also utilized really close to 100 different employers in the community to provide these experiences. I think that's it.
Very good. Thank you. Okay, Brandon.
Hi, I'm Brandon Grable, and I started Grable Exterior Maintenance Service. It's been going on 2 years, not quite 2 years. And since the last time I was up here, probably one of the biggest things was the fact of learning to let a lot of things go. And I know I've said that in the past, but I can't control everything and I can't do everything. So learning that's been the biggest thing that I can say has the hardest thing for me to learn. That being said, now we've been able to expand. We now have 4 trucks out there that are doing work. We've covered pretty much the entire state of Missouri, and we're expanding into Kansas. And we've taken on some projects as large as complete condominium units, apartment complexes, hospitals, hotels, car dealerships. So, like I said, it's kind of been a blessing. And being up here probably helped start all of it. I was able to present in Springfield and Columbia as well with Million Cups, and that definitely drove a lot of business in those communities as well. So thank you to everybody at 1 Million Cups and for having me back.
All right, Jessica.
I'm Jessica Beasing, and I own the Scarlett Lens Photography. It has been a crazy year for me as I've seen my business grow in different ways. I've also had times that I thought, what in the world am I doing? I was at Smithton before I left teaching to start on my own business, and there were times that I was like, oh my gosh, I have given up my dedicated income to venture out and do this. But there's not a moment that I'll look back and think, oh, that wasn't the right choice. It was the right choice for me because I've grown in so many ways. Not just my business has grown through all the network I've been doing, but I've also grown as a person and realized kind of channeling some of those, kind of like you said, letting some things go. That's hard for me. But I've done some of that. And also just the operating costs of running your business. I'm trained as a teacher, so I can do great planning and great critical thinking, but when it came to the business side, I had to learn to be a little bit more ruthless and let go of some of those nice things that I always want to be so nice about, that I've had to just, okay, take a breath, and this is business, and this is what I offer, and this is my price. You cannot just say, oh, well, I'll just pay you this. So I had to let go of some of those things. And because my business is a service industry and it's different, a lot of times people will say, oh, well, you could just come take some pictures for free. Well, it's not just that. I have to pay daycare. I have to pay other operating expenses. My cameras cost money. My lights cost money. All those things cost. And so I've had to let go of some of the things that make me the person I am, but to be able to be successful. And all the networking has been fantastic because through each person I meet, those are more people who introduce me to more people, and that's how my business has grown. I hear a lot of people say, oh my gosh, I see you everywhere. That's great because that's what I want, because that continues to grow my business even further.
You guys are doing good with the 3 minutes. How about you?
Good to Brandy, yeah.
I know. We're all scared. She knows martial arts. The way I'm LaDonna Meuschke, and I'm a boutique partner with Style Dots. We have beautiful jewelry and accessories, purses and sandals, and flip-flops are coming this month. Yay! And the way that I conduct my business is shifting somewhat. When I first started, I did home socials. That was the main way that I conducted my business, but it's shifting more toward events and Facebook with whatever problems it's having these days. It's becoming more difficult to use Facebook, but it is still probably the best medium for us to do our sales with Facebook Lives and Facebook socials. Coming to this has opened up events and opportunities for me. I've had online sales. I just had the offered an opportunity for an event just today. So that's pretty much it. What's changed for me is just the way that I conduct my business. Business is good. We have more beautiful products introduced every month. So if you haven't gone to my Facebook page, Hot 4 Dots, please do that.
Shameless plug. Good job. Drew, how about you?
Drew Ford. I'm with formerly known as Business Instruments. What we've done is we built out a ERP for small to medium-sized businesses. Just a raise of a hand, how many of you actually know what an ERP is?
Nope.
Exactly. All right. So to simplify, what we've done is we've built out a system of tools that help kind of manage businesses, whether that be sales from a CRM tool, or a project management tool, accounting tool, inventory management, dashboard analytics, or report builders. So basically, think of a large-scale SAP and Oracle type tool for bigger businesses. We've actually been able to scale that and make that more configurable and customizable for the small to medium-sized space. We're SaaS, so it could be a company that's looking just for, hey, we have a sales team that doesn't have a tool and we're wanting to track and manage everything. We can help with that. So we built basically tools that help handle everything on the back end. So you do your business, we'll help everything else or assist you in running everything else. What we've done, actually, we are rebranding and renaming to Kakuro. What we found was our tool suite was called Thrive, and we didn't realize at the time that there were about 15 different things out there. What I mean by 15, there may be like 15,000 actually, that have the name Thrive, spelled the same way, from a weight loss program, supplements. There is actually a bunch of different other tools kind of in our space as well, named Thrive. And actually recently we have a company in Kansas City that actually just released their social management platform named Thrive as well, but they spell it with a Y, trying to be different. So what we were trying to do is come with a name that actually fits more what we're doing and also separate ourselves from the general population. So Kakuro came about. What it means is logic puzzles. And so if you think about what we're actually doing is we're taking a lot of disparate pieces for a company and actually putting them together to actually make a picture. So taking all these pieces of company systems that maybe don't talk to another, we can actually house that in. So we're cutting down redundant data entry. We're making everything flow accordingly, and we're actually tracking it from the beginnings to your sales all the way through to your billing, and being able to see the data and actually start to run like forecasting and, hey, if we could cut down here, we could save money this way, or, you know, we always have this little issue every time we're running these projects, you know, working that way that we can actually simplify and, you know, help the bottom line. So, you know, our biggest thing has been rebranding, and it's been a huge piece, but it's been a fun piece. So it's been it.
Very good. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm Brandy Von Holten. We own Von Holten Ranch. It's a wedding and event venue, but then we also have like an RV park, and we have a covered arena, and we do horse events out there, including lessons. So we've been open now for 3 years. It'll be 4 years in September. And the wedding barn has picked up, and now we're trying to shift, because what we realized is that we were working ourselves into the ground, and so now we've got data to look at, and we're trying to restructure the events that we do. So as of last week, we now have cattle, and we'll start doing cattle events on horses, and then I'm really trying to grow my lessons. And we're finding that instead of doing like focusing on one thing, we're focusing on a whole bunch of different things. So now we have the boarding barn that's almost complete, where I'll be able to house other people's horses. My big like, woo, this is so much more helpful, is the more I focus on other people's businesses and giving back to them, the better our business is doing. So, I mean, every time somebody comes in for a wedding barn viewing, I'm showing them different versions of pictures, you know, so I get to show her, okay, here's her virtual picture, or here's like a photo booth. And then Mark's RVs, we're like, well, if our cabins are full, because now with the wedding industry, our cabins get full like a year to 2 years in advance, well, then my horse industry doesn't have a cabin. So now I'm like, we've got the answer for you. We've got Mark right here. So I don't know. Whenever I go and teach clinics, I'm now trying to, a clinic is like a small learning thing and it holds like 12 people. Well, if they fill to like 10 people, then I'm giving $100 to a charity for each different event. And I'm trying to make sure it's like really connected to that event. So I've, one big thing we're trying to branch out is I started doing mounted archery, like shooting like bows and arrows from a horse. Well, actually, I do it from a mule. First one in North America to do it from a mule. Well, now then, that industry didn't have a product line. So now then, there's like neat archery in town. Do you know they used to sponsor the U.S. Olympic team and the Canadian Olympic archery team? Like, a lot of people don't know that. That's like really cool. That business has been around for like 61 years. They made me a complete product line for mounted archery because it didn't exist. There was like, I had to order one piece from this chick in Arizona and one from this guy in Utah. And it took them like 3 months to get it in. Well, now then, they have made a complete product line. And then, a lot of people don't care about Von Holten because that's our last name. So then I actually trademarked the word Country Tough. And it's in like a survival category. So now then, people actually care about that. So we have a complete line of Country Tough mounted archery equipment. Our events they're called Country Tough. We have a Country Tough 5K that's going to go on this month. So I had to let go of the love of our name and then create it where, we have to focus more on people. A book that's really helped me, it has the F word in it, so I won't say that, okay? But it's called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a, you can put that word right there, okay? That book is amazing. And it's not about like, oh, I don't care. No, it's about making sure you care about what's really important, So for me, the big thing that helped me is like I was putting my heart and soul into like these horse events. Well, now I realize like 40 years from now, nobody's going to be like, man, I bet that host had the coolest obstacles and the best judge and the coolest ribbons. No, what they're going to be like is, hey, can I have that buckle? Here, you take that buckle. They're not going to know about me at all. So I just kind of had to separate a little bit and like focus more on my family and then like view this as more of a business instead of like, I don't know, I keep myself guarded a little bit more and it seemed like it's had to help a little bit, So like I try super hard, but then like, I don't know, I've had to adjust. I keep on hearing the same thing. Like, I don't know, I kind of got like bulldozed a little bit. It felt like, there was a lot of really mean people out there that are doing some really mean things without a purpose other than being mean. And a lot of it's jealousy driven. And I've now come to terms with that. And then I don't get mad at them because I understand it's human nature. So everybody thinks they want my life. They couldn't do it for 10 days. They would be like, I'm out. Never mind. So I will tell you, I do miss having a constant paycheck, but then I've figured out I really, really love teaching, and so now I'm incorporating things that I really enjoy, and we're trying to get larger horse events in so we can do less. So that's an honest answer for you, by the way. And I want you to do fit at my place. I have never had a fit child. I want them. I want y'all, this is not a big enough group. I want a bigger group than all y'all. So, please tell your people I do the wedding barn, the horse industry. Don't think you're going to come out there and help me ride horses for exercise. It's not about that at all. It's all marketing. It's all marketing is what we're doing. So, there's Von Holten Ranch.
All right, Jason.
I knew I was going to say before Brandy started talking. I forget.
Come on now.
I'm Jason Vanatta. I own Vanatta Fabrication. We build show trucks mostly, and we have a parts line of parts I've invented. Trying to think how much different it was a year ago. A year ago, it was me building parts half the day and building the truck the next half the day, and into the night pretty much every night. So now I've got a full-time guy. He works 40 hours a week doing nothing but just building parts, managing the website. I've got Tyler Engel here now. He's my 20-year-old prodigy. He just built his first truck for us. It's about a $60,000 lifted 71 K10, all fuel injected and everything. And I gave him a little bit of guidance, and I did the paint job. He did everything else. Is getting a shot for Street Trucks magazine, so his first build's going in the magazine of all magazines. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, he gives me faith in his generation because he needs zero guidance. I get to work, he's pretty much there waiting for me to get there. I just don't I don't supervise him at all. I'm more like a team leader. I'm not like a boss to him because he doesn't need that. He's very independent, very clever. A lot of my employees before, I don't like to watch them work because, like, could you be any slower? Well, I'll go watch Tyler work, and it's like, dude, how clever are you? It's like everything he does is just so smart. So anyway, that's been a big help in the business. It's taken a lot of stress off me, somebody I can really count on. Then my parts guy, I don't really have to worry about parts too much anymore. I still do designing and invent new parts. This year we got picked up by Classic Parts. They're the biggest parts wholesaler in the world. They got a hold of us and asked us if they could carry our parts. So that's supposed to come out in their catalog this month. He's doing like $25,000, $30,000 builds a year ago. Now we don't do anything for really less than 50. The one we're doing right now from Austin, Texas it's going to hit 80. Then we just finished one from Memphis. Then we have one in from Kansas. That's the one Tyler built. Then the next one comes in from Milwaukee. Yeah, we got one coming. 69 Camaro comes in from Milwaukee this week. And then we're just doing it from all the states around us. So another thing we've stopped doing a lot of things. Our parts department, we have a CNC plasma cutter that cuts out all of our parts. We're also building signs. I stopped doing all the advertising for signs. It's just too much work. We got to concentrate on our parts. That's really where the money's at. We'll still do signs, but I don't advertise it. Actually, I don't advertise anything. We stopped all advertising like 6 months ago because it's just we got more work than we can handle. And with us being really well known as a fabrication shop, we have a waiting list for trucks to build. So the advertising is just not needed. And I don't want all the phone calls and people coming in, all the interruptions. We was doing lift kits, lowering kits, leveling kits. We've stopped doing all that. The only thing we do now is we build 2 trucks at a time. He builds one, I build the other, and I run everything. We do our parts, and that is it. We simplified everything because every time we do a small job, it just put us back on a big job, which we was already getting paid for. So we weren't making any more money by doing the small job. It's just putting off the big job. And the small jobs just turn into headaches half the time. So we just do 3 things, build 2 trucks and build parts. It's very simple. And we're all having fun, and we enjoy it. And actually, for the first time, thanks to my employees, I'm actually enjoying my job after many, many years. So employees make a very big difference in your life. So learn that. And then, like the people have said, everything I've learn to say no. People want sponsorships all the time. You can't sponsor everybody. Remember, we're a small shop. Hit up the big shops, We're bigger someday. Yeah, hit us up. But I'll sponsor anybody going to like Seaman, which is our biggest thing in the world. This gets a lot of attention. But somebody sent me a video. It's called How to Say No. I listened to that, and then ever since then, people come in with this and that. I'm like, no, we do 3 things here, and that's it. I don't want the headache of it. I don't want the stress of it. I want to come to work and enjoy my job and not worry about any of that stuff. Just relax and have fun. And I don't want these guys doing work that they want to be doing anyway. So I hired Tyler to build show vehicles, not to do mechanical work and all that. So that's pretty much it for us.
All right, Cliff, bring us home.
Oh, wow. Well, first of all, I'm Cliff Callis. I'm president of Callis Integrated Marketing. And I have enjoyed listening to everybody's stories this morning. Mine's a little different because I've been in business a long time. And yet, business changes all the time. And we're in the marketing business. And, marketing has gone through a revolution since the time I got into business over 30 years ago. And today, as we have in the past, we represent a variety of different kinds of industries, both local and regional, as well as companies that are selling their products all over the world. And you mentioned people, and our business is all about people. That's all we are. People who generate ideas, people who work with customers, people who are really smart that understand digital marketing. And so it's been cool to watch our business evolve over the years from really starting without a computer. For students, I know you have a hard time believing that, maybe, but no computer, to everything being fully digital. And so, our clients challenge us on a daily basis, really, to stay at the forefront of our industry. and to lead them along and lead their marketing programs where they should go. And so when I presented a year and a half ago, I talked about the marketing trends that we were seeing and experiencing at that particular time. Since then, technology just continues to drive marketing. And there are so many new ways of communicating with people today. And so, some of the things that we're starting to see are, everybody's heard of search engine, or most people have heard of search engine optimization. Well, now things are moving towards voice search, because if you think about it, you're searching for things on your phone, you're asking for things, and it's serving up information to you. So voice search. Over-the-top TV, which is advertising on Hulu or Roku, some of the more non-traditional but very much today's way of gathering information. Ratings and reviews. People are more and more driven by what people are saying about different products and services, and so there are ways to positively impact ratings and reviews, and there's more. And so in our business, it's been very cool, because even though our business is very stable, we represent some of the area's leading organizations, including State Fair Community College. Thank you, Dr. Anderson. We're able to, and we are driven by staying in front of technology and what it can do for our clients. I've always been an entrepreneur. I started mowing grass when I was a little kid. I grew up in the retail business. But the marketing business has been a great way to really stay current with what's going on. And so I'm very impressed by my fellow presenters today. I'm a little envious, because you have businesses that are in the infancy and growth stages. Mine's in a very mature stage. And so we have different challenges of trying to remain current, remaining relevant, and helping our clients grow their brands and their businesses. So, thank you.
Well said. Thank you to each of you. You guys ran through that really well. We appreciate the recaps. I'm always amazed at your grit, your innovation, and the inspiration each one of you bring, not only to each other, but to all of us. So good work. I'm now going to open it up to some facilitated questions. I've got a couple of those started, but I also want to hear from you, the audience. What questions do you have for our esteemed presenters here this morning? So guys and ladies, as an entrepreneur or small business owner, I know that you often on a daily basis wear a lot of different hats. Have you been able to hire professional expertise or help that will assist you with the various demands of your business, like an accountant, a lawyer, an intern, for example? Have you been able to bring on board any kind of help that really has helped, or that maybe hasn't helped?
I have a lawyer on retention with Legal Shield, so I'm able to have legal counsel 24/7. And then an accountant, we don't mess around with that stuff. We have like a legit accountant, and he's like so far behind, we're actually going to have to pay a fine because it's going to be late, but I don't care because he knows our stuff. So we like always seek professional help. And having a lawyer on retention has been very helpful for all sorts of stuff. I mean, like they look over rule books for me. They look over any kind of issue that if I have somebody that gets nasty, they're able to help with cease and desist letters. Yeah, it's not all unicorns and rainbows. So anyway,
that's through Legal Shield.
That's through. I do use Legal Shield right now. If we have to, I mean, every now and then, if I need something bigger, we have a local lawyer also. If I have a bigger ordeal, like whenever we created our LLC, that was all through a lawyer. So.
Anyone else?
We're a software company, so we've had to hire software developers. As far as like we've done the full gambit, so we've hired very seasoned individuals, hire senior devs, and we've also had individuals we brought in from other colleges, like internships. We've had some good luck on that. We've had some luck that just didn't fit, not only maybe technically, but just didn't understand what we were trying to do in the future. So, I would say for most small shops, hiring the right person really, really matters, because if you get somebody in that's the wrong person, and you spend all that time with the training and to get them going, and then you have to move in a different direction, it puts you behind the 8 ball quite a bit. And we have an accountant and all of that other stuff just to handle things that we don't want to touch as well. That's a big thing. So yeah, we have a team. We've actually have individuals here in the States, and we actually have we've outsourced some of our dev as well to the Philippines, actually.
And I would also say that my program, I've partnered with the multimedia class at the school, and I've taken some students with me to take pictures and video, the students completing internships, so we could then make a promotional video of the Sedalia FIT program. And I'm actually meeting with Cliff on Friday to discuss the creation of a Sedalia FIT website. Because something I didn't mention is part of my role too is we want to expand the program and let others know that what we're doing. I've already visited with both Lamont and Northwest school districts here locally that are interested in having students intern here in the Sedalia area too. I present about the FIT program when I go to state business teacher conferences and other organizations. We've had interest in the program from the Commissioner of Education's office and the State Chamber of Commerce, looking at making the Sedalia FIT a model program for other schools. So part of my job too is communicating with other districts and informing them about the program. So we need a professional website to share that information.
Perfect.
I have hired a local attorney to help me with things. I've got a local accountant that does a wonderful job. You guys, thank you. They've done great with everything, and there's been other things I've learned about hiring people as well, and it comes to just hiring general employees. And one thing I learned that was probably the hardest thing was to not go out and hire somebody that will just work for a certain amount of money to do something, to do a job. I've learned to hire people that are way smarter than I am. I've learned to hire people that bring something to the table that I don't, something that I don't know anything about, and it has been so beneficial. Because when we have rainy days or we have cold days, I'm able to still keep them employed, and they're able to do something that's beneficial to help us grow. So that's probably been the biggest learning thing for me as far as letting things go and hiring people, is hire someone smarter than you, because they're much easier to work with than people that aren't.
I want to piggyback off what he just said. We've noticed 2 different types of employees. We've noticed one that we've had to tell them everything to do, which is good sometimes because you can be like, here, do this, do this. And then we have the other employee that can actually think for themselves and find out things that are wrong, like, hey, I found this electrical box and it was messed up, here's this. And then we've got the other one that they just don't. I mean, it's good to have both types, but one of them's going to make more money than the other one for sure. If I'm having to tell them, go take out all the garbages, and then they don't have the initiative to tell me something's broken, but then they took all those garbages out, so most definitely 2 different types. I appreciate both, but I do like the one that's going to, be hungry and look for what else they can do to make my business better.
We actually use a lot of different people to help us out. Of course, I think we probably all use accountants, because if you're a business owner, it's crazy complicated. There's no way I could ever do my taxes. I turn it all into my accountant. They keep me out of jail. Every Monday morning, I call them. I do payroll every Monday, so I call them. I tell them what the guy's hours are. They call me back in a little bit and say, hey, write them a check for this, because they're taking care of all the taxes. I have no idea how to do that, and I have no reason to. I'm not an accountant. I build show cars. So they take care of all that. We have our sandblasting and powder coating company. It takes care of all that for us, because we don't have that in our business. And then I have a designer who takes all my ideas and inventions, whatever. He puts all that stuff into the computer so the table can cut it all out, because I don't mess with that either. We have all of our suppliers that deliver to us every single day. We have our machinist that builds Tyler built the last motor, but we had a machinist. We had a motor go bad on us in a build. And so they machined everything back to new. Tyler put it all back together from watching YouTube videos. And it runs perfectly. Yeah, we deal with a lot of different people in town. And it's kind of nice having everybody they're all part of the team. You know, and sometimes you'll hire somebody to do something for you and they'll botch it. It's like, hey, you're no longer part of the team. You know, we have to put out, our stuff's all about, well, most everybody's is about quality. But when it comes to show vehicles, your whole reputation is in the quality of that. And everybody involved has to be the best. B&B Transmissions, they build all of our transmissions. You know, from the very beginning, he's been just the best person to deal with. He's enjoyable to deal with. He has warranties. He's fast. So we just really rely on all these people here in town to give us the best product we can give our customers.
Okay, thank you guys. Good answers. Okay, so last time I checked, running a business, starting a business is not a 40-hour week job. So how do you balance being an entrepreneur, running a business, growing a business, launching a business, and that family life, that home life? How do you balance me time, family time, and work time?
Well, I have a few drinks every day.
Fantastic answer.
I'm at this guy's place here. It's tough. Like I said earlier, I also have another, quote, part-time job that's never the hours it's intended to be. So I think I mentioned my day usually starts at 1:15 in the morning. And a lot of times during our peak season between April and November, there's emails to answer, there's Facebook stuff. My brother is my partner. He's a captain in the Navy, and the computer stuff is kind of his gig. That's what he does. So him and my sister-in-law, she has a background in accounting and with tax preparation, so she takes care of all that stuff. We do have an attorney, but the time, it's hard to find time for to get away. But I have learned, especially last year, as busy as we got last year, if you don't take that time to separate yourself from everything, you're going to have trouble. You can physically make yourself sick. So I learned that you just have to take that time. You have to make that time to go fishing, to go hunting, to by his place and have a couple of cocktails, after a long day and stuff like that. So you have to make that time. You have to schedule that time. In the morning, I schedule, believe it or not, but I schedule myself a nap in the morning time. If I don't, I get so wore out, and then you start making poor decisions. When you get wore out to a frazzle, you make poor calls, and that's probably the biggest learning curve. But you have to make that time.
So last year, we were open 352 days out of the year. So it means we closed down 13 days. The Amish don't work 52 days out of the year because they don't work on Sunday. So we literally worked more than the Amish. Okay. So we did not balance it for the first couple of years, and it was horrible. I gained 40 pounds. My husband gained 20, and it was not working. So like this year, I've had to force myself to, I have a morning regimen, and then I actually made a logbook for myself, and it's based off, I read a lot, but like every morning, the way that I have found balance is to focus on being a master of the mundane, which means that I have to make sure the dishes and the laundry get done, the shirts get taken to the dry cleaner, because like all of a sudden, you won't have any clean socks or underwear, and you're wearing your jeans on day 3 if you don't take care of your life. Okay, so like what I have, whatever, truth. Okay, so, but I have a logbook, and I've actually sold a ton of these logbooks because everybody's like, how are you keeping that? And I'm like, every day it says day 1 instead of one day, and I don't write the date. I wait and do it for that day because I'm like, today is special. Today is day 1. Then I write 3 things I'm grateful for. I write a good memory from the day before. I write a thank you card every day. And I don't start my day until I do that. Then I do some form of professional development. It's usually about 5 pages of a book, or I will research something. Whatever. But if I don't do that stuff, and then at the top, I have my overall goal that I'm trying to work towards. And I've wrote the same goal on there for like 7 months. But I look at it every day until I get tired of looking at it. I'm going to keep writing it. I start the day off also with anything that has an exact time that I have to be somewhere, so I know my appointments. I've started writing the appointments the day before so I don't forget. And then I write out all the foods that I eat because there's an issue there. And then I write down everything that has to be done. And if I don't get it done, it gets a square put around it, and I write it on the next day at the top of the list. And I've had to write the same thing like 6 days in a row until I force myself to get that done. So I am very, very structured, and that has really, that's the only, because before I was like, I got to get all this stuff done, and then I would forget half of it, and then it would be like 3 days before I need something. So my structure is like, I stress people out with how structured I am, but if I don't have it, then I fall through the cracks, and then all of a sudden I'll work a whole day and not get anything done. I don't know if y'all have ever done that, worked all day and not got anything done that you needed to do. So anyways, I struggle with making time. So
It really depends on your business. Like a year ago, I was not that happy. I was very stressed out. I would work from 8:30 in the morning till 10 o'clock at night, every single day pretty much, working on customers' vehicles. Well, I was spending half a day building parts. Like, all right, I got half a day to get on this truck because I have to get something done on it. Well, then after hiring Tyler and my other employee, they kind of, really helped out a lot. So I work from 8:30 to about 6, and then it's my time. Like, I'm not working on vehicles at night that are customers. So I work on my truck. Summer's almost here. My truck needs to get done. It almost is. It's big advertising for us. But that's my stress relief. All day long, I'll be excited about working on my truck. 6 o'clock comes. I don't go home. I don't want to go home. There's nobody there. I'm single. I don't have to balance family. I have my little girls on Wednesday nights and every other weekend. So I have lots of time to work. So get my truck done. I'm only home to sleep. So I have a housekeeper who takes care of the house. Basically, I do laundry. I have underwear to wear.
I've had to buy more.
Yeah. The first week, I'd be like, where is my underwear? I don't know where she put all my laundry. So
we have different lives.
Yeah. And I got a guy who takes care of all my landscaping at the shop, at the house, as I can. Well, once the truck is done, then I'm like, I'm not dating until that truck's done. Because I won't get my truck done if I start dating. So once the truck's done, then nighttime, I can just do whatever I want. So I don't know. Maybe I'll buy a lawnmower, mow grass.
We've got one for sale right now.
But I hate to fire my landscaper. He's been with me for a while. So really, my employees are why I have free time now, and I enjoy what I do. But some businesses, there's business owners, they don't even go to work. Their employees run it. And I can do that. And I like to take a vacation because the first week of November every year is SEMA. That's where we go to Vegas. It's a huge deal for us. The entire world comes together. We're not a car show, but SEMA is a Special Equipment Manufacturing Association. There's all your new products, but thousands of vehicles, like $250,000 muscle cars, there's thousands of them. They're there showing off this company's wheels, this company's transmission, this company's windshield, just whatever. And, this year, I'm always stressed. I didn't even go last year because I was by myself at the shop. I'm like, there's no way I'm leaving. Well, this year, I had to go because it's very important for us. But the guys were like, just go and have fun. We have everything under control. And they did. Everything got done while I was gone. I didn't have to worry about anything. So I went and had fun. Learned a lot of stuff that helped. We made a lot of changes to the business when I came back, just like we do every year. So, it really depends on the business. Some businesses take a lot of hours, like mine did, and some just don't.
Just your hand up.
Yeah. So I have 2 small kids, and I have my photography business, but I also have another business, and I also work for State Fair some too. So I have multiple jobs, and I have multiple roles. So I hear people tell me all the time about how busy I am, and yes, I am busy, but it is planning it out and making it work. I kind of have a routine like Brandy, not exactly, I don't write it all down, but I wake up in the morning, I check my calendar on my phone to know what I'm doing, but I also check my calendar on my phone every night before I go to bed. And then I really used this past year because I have been exhausted. I had previously I was working 40 hours. I would go to the studio after that, and then I would work in my other business. So it was exhausting, and I did work myself into the ground. And when I said I got to the point where I could say no, that was the break I needed to change, to stop trying to please everybody and stop trying to continue to just work. I was spinning in circles and I wasn't getting anything accomplished. So whenever I could take that time to just stop and realize what was important to me, and that's my family. My family comes first. My kids will always come first. I wanted to pursue these business adventures because I wanted my children to come first. My kids are 7 and 3. They're very small, and I don't want to miss all the things of their life. So I pick my daughter up every day at 3:30, and 3:30 to 6:30, that is my time with my kids. We work on cleaning the house, or we work on academic tasks, but I try not to schedule any sessions or any other events during that block of time, Monday through Friday, because my kids need me, and I'm their mom first before I'm anything else. So I always plan that time out, and then I always do 8 to 8:30. I will take a break. I'll work from like 6:30 to 8:30 on editing or whatever things that I need to do, and then I will 8 to 8:30 I'll put them to bed and get all the things that they need, and then 8:30 to sometimes midnight, sometimes 2, just depends on what all work that I need to have done. I will just continue to get it done, and I work off lists. I have a running list every single day of all the things that I need to do, and I go through it. And then if something comes up that I won't be able to make it to, or I have a scheduling conflict, I'll message who I'm supposed to go to and say, hey, I can't do this, but I could do this, and try to make the schedules all work. And we use outside daycare minimally. We're very grateful to our parents. My husband's parents and my parents watch our kids on the weekends when I work. So it works out. I do a lot of work on the weekends, but it's just balancing that. And it does take a lot of work, because in the beginning you want your business to grow and you want it to all happen right away, and it doesn't. So knowing and balancing is very important.
So with my business, when I started my business, the way that it was started was based around my son. I'm a full-time single father. So that being said, I left my career to be a dad. And when I started this business, that was the most important thing. And that's remained the most important thing. Yeah, I'm up 21 hours a day. I sleep 3 hours a day. Fortunately, both my parents were that way, and I don't require any sleep, so I'm good. So I just keep going. I've learned that at the end of the day, when he gets out of school, it's his time. When he goes to bed, I go back to work to doing something that I need to do. In the morning, I'm usually up a good 2 or 3 hours before him. I'm working. He's up. I get him ready, get him to school. Then I start working again. And somehow or another, we've been able to balance it to the point that I've been able to still be able to work, because we're open. Like I said, we're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We clean places at night when they're closed. So fortunately, I have my mother and my sister, which are great support systems and live in the same neighborhood. So thank you to them. But it's been a real challenge to balance things. But now that we've been doing it for a while, it's great, because I still get as much time with him, if not more, than I've ever had. And I'm still able to manage the business. My employees know that there's afternoons when I leave that I'm going to baseball. I don't miss baseball. The only way I'm missing baseball is if we've really got problems. And they all laugh, and it's no big deal, but you just have to make time. And that's the most important thing I can say for anybody that's going to start their own business. In the beginning, make time for your family, and don't ever lose that, because those are the people that are going to be there for you all the way through. So
I did the same thing as Brandon. I worked at Printergy for 5.5 years. I had a really good job there. That was my career. I liked that job. They kept interfering with me seeing my little girls. It was killing me. You tell somebody on a Thursday you got to work all weekend, and you have your kids the next day. It just destroys you. I'd have to drop my kids off to my parents for the weekend, not even see my kids. That could go for months like that. So I walked away from that to start my own job or my own business. And I was kind of doing it at night, but it was growing into something where I couldn't do both. Like, all right, let's go on our own. And I've never missed a minute with my kids since. It's been 3 or 4 years since I've been on my own. And for the first several years, I was working like 14 hours a day. But when Friday comes, I pick one daughter up at 2:45 and the other at 3:15. I don't have to ask anybody. I just go. Anytime I want to do anything with my kids, I just go. Every weekend I have them, we usually take off and go somewhere before. I couldn't do any of that. So, I ended a career over that. But I've never been happier. My kids are happy. They know Daddy's always there. I'm not working. They hated that when I used to have to work. it just crush them. I tell them the whole weekend's canceled because I have to work. So, yeah, it's definitely worth it if you can make that work.
Very good. Work hard, play hard, right? Okay, thank you guys for that. Anybody have any audience questions?
I want to go back to something Brad said earlier. You had mentioned that you had to really totally shift from what the local people wanted. But with yours being, it's a franchise, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Okay. How did that affect what the franchise expected you to do versus what the community wants to see?
Yeah, so in all honesty, I take a lot of liberties that aren't readily available in most franchise opportunities. So like a McDonald's, for example, that's very, very structured. Like you have to have a specific type of chair, a specific type of table, spacing wise, all that kind of stuff. Beer Cellar being a younger franchise and the industry in general, craft beer being more of a regionalized or micro-regionalized, like our product mix is a lot different from like Boston where it started. Just because a lot of those breweries don't distribute down to us. So our product mix for one is different. And I think they realize that each community is going to be a little bit different. So you can't just take a cookie cutter and place it everywhere. But yeah, to that point, like I'll make changes kind of on the fly. And then through conversations with them, I'll be like, oh, hey, by the way, I did this. And generally, as long as you kind of tell them like there's a thought and a reason behind it, they're supportive for the most part. Of course, there's little things like we want our specific color to be this type of red or whatever. There are little intricacies that you do have to, guidelines and rules that you have to follow being part of a franchise. But I think for me, it is a little different because they do realize that the industry is specific to the region that they're in. So
It's going on 1 year that I opened up my business, and I need some advice on advertising. Like, I'm meeting someone today with radio to talk about with me going to relocate next month. Never done radio. I've heard Jessica on Facebook Live and LaDonna. What's your advice?
I need business cards.
I have this. Okay.
Is anybody else on the radio?
I'm on the radio with Hunting and Fishing with Harry twice a month for a year.
I'm on the radio, and with our advertising, I do 4 live reads a week, and do 2 on Wednesday, 2 on Friday, and then we advertise with commercials throughout the week, all week long. And I would say one of the biggest things with radio advertising that we found has been the repetition and keeping everything flowing so that it's the same, and having something catchy. Like my son, he's 9, he does the commercials. He wants to do them. He's like, I'll do them. I said, we're going to do radio. Can I record the commercials? Yeah, that's a great idea. Come on, let's take you down to the recording studio. So yeah, it's also one of those things I can say that I don't know how anybody else's experience has been with it, but it's one thing that it takes a little while for it to take off.
That's what I was going to say.
It works, but it doesn't work overnight.
Consistent messaging.
Yeah.
Over and over again. That's good.
That's what I was going to say. I mean, I'm on the radio 4 times a day in Sedalia. I'm also on the radio 4 times a day in Marshall. So the repeat of that over and over, hearing my name, has been very beneficial. Facebook Live has been very good. I know LaDonna does it a lot too. When people see our face and they can connect with us, people love that. People love seeing my kids. They do. When I have my kids out there and we're doing an event, they love to see them. They love to hear our story. They love to see what we're doing. So I think marketing a little piece of our life helps us as well, because people feel like they're connected to us and part of our story.
I think a lot of it depends on who your market is, who your demo is, and I'll give Kelly a plug. We got a lot of data through her office, so you can request for your industry specific. Like, for example, we just got some restaurant statistics. We have a food truck that comes every once in a while, so we were looking at what times people eat out in this area, and she can, like, one of the things I didn't know about is she gave us radius statistics. So within 5 miles, 10 miles, 15 miles, so I would say that's the biggest thing, because what works for some of us what works for me probably doesn't work for Mark, and vice versa. So it really comes down to who your market is and what you want to go after. And I'm sure Cliff probably has some good thoughts on that as well.
I think you're all right on. I think it depends on who your market is. The great thing about media and marketing is it all works. It's just a matter of what's going to work best for you in your particular situation and who you're talking to and the best way to communicate with them.
You want to do like Dr. Spencer and run the exact same commercial for 15 years.
Yeah.
Anybody else have a commercial memorized?
What you do is name.
And he probably does that commercial. So
that's what radio does. Having been in radio, that's what radio does. If it's like you said, somebody said that the same message over and over, that's what radio does. But you have to know who you're trying to reach, because every radio station reaches a different audience.
The kid in the commercials and
probably a grandpa. Yeah.
You know, with us, there's so many different people I'm trying to reach in different levels. So like for a lot of our, the yard sale sites, I target the yard sale sites because our prices are so much lower on our wedding barn, and my horseback riding lessons, I have discount packages. So my yard sale sites, I've gotten a lot of play from there. Then I write for 5 magazines a month, and one of those gets me a lot of, I had people come here from Alaska just to ride with me, but the mule magazine, if I want to hit the mule market, they actually read the magazine. And then I have noticed an increase in my lessons from the radio, but then not anything else connected to that. So, man, you might be having to, Facebook, what I'm told is now for older people. And so a lot of people read everything that I put on Facebook. It's not a way for me to reach the younger crowd. So it depends on who you're trying to reach. I'm trying to reach older people, so I'm going to Facebook long freaking posts because they read every word.
They want to hear your story.
They want to hear this. Whenever I do videos, and I'll post, if I do a video less than a minute, then usually those get like 5,000 or 6,000 views. And then if I do something where I immediately tell them there's going to be a giveaway in it, then some of those videos will hit 30,000. So people are looking for a deal. And it could be a free ice cream or a t-shirt. Yeah, that I'm hitting younger crowds the way I do my videos. So I've now had to, because a lot of people don't like a female in charge. They want to hear from a man. So I've now had to make my husband, who doesn't want to he doesn't want to do that. He's working in the barn alone today, and he's happy. He's got his DeWalt radio going. We got him some new screws from Menards last night. All good, okay? So, anyways, I now make him do Man Mondays instead of everything having to come from me. And then I do Wonder Woman Wednesdays, but I do those once a month. And then I do a coffee talk once a week. And then I've gotten out of the habit that these are starting back up this week. So those seem to be, and I can't do live because I don't have a strong enough, I can't do it. I'm out in the sticks. So I have to do video, which is nice because then I can do it over until it looks okay.
Questions, yes. Yes,
I would imagine when you start your own business, you have this vision and this plan and the determination and the drive, and you're going to be able to make this work. Then at some point along the way, whether it's early on or further in, you realize you do need outside help. You do need advice. You do need referrals. You do need to reach out. And so how difficult is that? Accept that help when it's offered.
You have to hit rock bottom. I had to hit bottom a little bit to be able to say, okay, I've got to do some changes. And rock bottom for me meant that I was drained. Like the business was doing better, but there was no brandy left. And after that, I was like, something's got to change, or I'm going to sell this and I'm going to go do something else, And so whenever I was like, we got to change some things up. I don't know. We had to get a pretty low emotional spot before I was like, something's got to give before I have a heart attack or something. So.
I don't know. I don't think I ever shut off anybody from the beginning. Like, I was kind of more of like, I will take anything and everything they can give me. One, because I think somebody said it best: you hire smart people. Smarter they are around you, you rely on them. I think I've taken that notion. We've got some of our best ideas on some of our software from people that were just in a trial. And realistically, they were sitting down and they'd ask these questions, and they were like, it'd be really cool if it could do this. And I'm like, well, why? And I would work to just understand what they were coming from, because we're always in it, so you couldn't see the forest through the trees kind of thing. And so we would sit down, and then afterwards, we'd look at each other and we'd be like, why didn't you think of that? I'm like, why didn't you think of that? That's a great idea. And it was like, well, let's make this happen. So I think taking that notion, and there's no such thing as a bad idea. That's not true. But there's been a lot of crazy ideas that we've had that actually turned into some fantastic features in our software. And it was just kind of someone would say anything. So I've always taken the fact of, like, anybody I can meet with, regardless of if there was something that maybe I could help them or they could help me, or just learning about their business, because it's a small world. And eventually we'll probably run into each other again, and maybe there'll be a time that we can help each other out or that kind of thing. I don't know. I don't know if we've ever just cut it off. I've always kind of been like, if you have ideas, I want to hear them. If you have thoughts, I want to hear them, good or bad. I mean, taking that criticism and taking those ideas or those pieces has been kind of what's helped us get to our software where it is now. So
I've had 8-year-old girls help me out with stuff, like whenever they're like, are we going to cut a ribbon on your grand opening? And I was like, why, yes, I need to go get some ribbon. I didn't think about that. And then now I had a little 8-year-old girl that she was having trouble with right and left, and I had on red gloves and she had on blue gloves. So we switched a glove, and then it went from right and left to red and blue. Well, now for the adults, they get confused too, because if they're going away from me or coming towards me, it just messes them up. So now I have bracelets that are different colors, or they need to have at least one, and then I wear the same one, and then I'm like, bracelet hand pick up, non-bracelet leg, so like that came from an 8-year-old girl,
Smart kid.
She couldn't do right and left.
She's getting that right now.
She's got it now. Yeah.
It's real easy to get overwhelmed real quick, especially when you first get started. When we first started, my brother was actually deployed in Bahrain, so it was tough to. I don't know how many miles that is. It's way away. It's on the other side of Warsaw, I think. But it was hard. I was doing everything from all the Facebook stuff to delivering. We actually deliver campers and picked them up also. So I was the maintenance, the cleaning up, believe it or not, the laundry, everything of the aspects of the business. I was doing it all, and I got tremendously overwhelmed, and just whoever it was just wore to a frazzle. So the first thing we done, and it helped when he got back to the States and wasn't deployed, and we've been real fortunate about his duties in the Navy right now, and they're like, he goes home every night. So we dispersed that and we split up the duties. My sister-in-law takes care of the money stuff and the bill paying and everything. My brother takes care of all the internet stuff. We advertise on a couple different places, and takes care of our website. And I'm kind of the bones of it. I'm the face-to-face guy, the delivery guy, the maintenance guy, the fixer-upper, and the laundry guy. So that was a big hurdle. And to go back a little bit to the advertising stuff, we finally jumped in and did a big outdoor show in Springfield a few weeks ago. For some reason, I don't know why they called it the man show, but there was more women there than there was men. But they estimated there was about 6,000, 6,500 people there, and I think I talked to 5,999 people. But our stuff, and Brad mentioned it too, it kind of depends on what your glitch is, where you're at. Our stuff, we get more response from and better networking from our network and our partners. Me and Brandy give each other a hard time sometimes, but they're our biggest partner. And she don't go nowhere. I don't think that she doesn't have some of my business cards or talks me up. And I don't go nowhere that I don't talk her up. We're big partners with the Last Resort in Warsaw. I got a meeting tomorrow with, her name is Megan. She's the director of the Missouri Department of Tourism. We're, kind of find out, I was at a Rock Island Trail meeting in Jeff City a couple weeks ago. There's tons of free stuff where we're kind of in the tourism glitch thing, there's hundreds of thousands of people. I had no idea until after I met with that lady. And all that it's all free. It's all free. We're a little bit late to get in with this big publication that goes out to these different hubs, with tourism hubs and stuff, but we'll be on there next year. But the outdoor show was a big deal for us. It was pretty pricey, but when people can come in and they can look and they can go in and see the campers, and then you start explaining things and stuff, and that one-on-one stuff is a big deal for us. But our biggest hurdle when we started was, I remember when I presented here, and even down there in Springfield this year, that nobody, I don't know how many people would say, we didn't have any idea that this was available. We didn't know that you could rent one. We thought you had to buy one, you had to rent one. We've rented campers of people from Maine, California, Texas, Canada. So they either come here. We've had people come through and pick our stuff up, go to Indiana, we had a couple campers over the wintertime that went down south somewhere. I have no idea where they went. They started out like in New Orleans. They come back 3 months later. So the word of mouth and letting everybody know that we're here was like our biggest hurdle. But the connections that we made and our partners, that's, I think when you can partner up. When we first started, we come up and joined the chamber up here. These two ladies right here helped us out a lot. That I think that's our biggest asset is not necessarily our campers or the property we bought and stuff, but it's our network and our partners that we have. And Brandy's a hoot to work with too. So
what was the original question? What question are we answering? I don't even remember.
I asked how hard it was to reach out for help or accept help from people who wanted to either give a suggestion or provide a service to you or connect you with the right people and that type of thing.
I do reach out to people now. Like I was at Springfield for this Ozark Spring Roundup, and I got to do. David had to stay back at the place because somebody's always got to be there. And so I did 3 presentations, one over despooking horses and mules, one over mounted archery, and one over mule versatility. And I had to run a booth. It was awful. Okay. And this one poor lady, I put an SOS out on Facebook, like, dear Lord baby Jesus, can somebody come help me? Or like a whole bunch of y'all. And that one lady put over 5.5 miles on her legs before noon that day for me. And it worked out wonderful because I had over 80 people come to that first presentation, over 40 come to the next one. The last one had 12 people in it, and my mule was done, and he was actually a stink. And then I've gotten more business out of those 12 people. They're like, this one person's coming. She's got to drive 3 hours to come train with me for a 2-hour lesson. And I guess because she's seen my animal do horrible, because he was like, we're done. It's too much, Mom. And then they seen me deal with it whenever, crap was hitting the fan. So anyways, I reach out to all sorts of people like, do you know anybody that does this? Facebook, whatever. I'm almost 40. I'm one of the older people now. So I use the heck out of that, and I ask for help. And if somebody says they're going to help me, like, no shame. How some people are like, oh, no, you don't have. No, I'm like, what time will you be here? Like, thank you. Do you have a friend? I'll give you a sandwich. Whatever. So
40 is not old.
I'm not 40 yet, but no, I read everything on Facebook. I rely on Facebook. I'm really trying to do Instagram better. I was supposed to have a student here this week, and then she wasn't able to come, and I was like, no, my Instagram connection.
Well, I told you we would have everyone out here by 10:30, so I would love to take more questions. I think we could do this for a couple more hours and still learn stuff. I've heard some common themes. One, find the balance before the balance finds you. That's inevitable. Learn how to say no. And you've all witnessed your own process of evolving to your customer demands. I'm pretty excited to hear each one of the businesses. That was a common theme. Guys, put your hands together for all of our